All right, hello, welcome back to my channel. Today I am joined with director, actor, singer who has been seen in shows as Rent, Jersey Boys, Next to Normal, and as the original Rent in Footloose. It is Jeremy Kushner. Thank you so much, Jeremy, for joining me. How are you this morning?
Thank you for having me, Lauren. It's good to see you.
It is so good to see you. How have you been doing?
Doing good, just starting to get into the holiday spirit here at the house. We had a big group over for Thanksgiving, and day after Thanksgiving, we switched it over. It's Christmas, so
Yeah, it's that fast, right?
yep.
I want to talk all about the album because I'm super excited about it. But before I get into that, one question. So, obviously, this music is so good and you are such a great singer. I want to know how it is that you got into this. Like, what was it that inspired you to become a singer?
Well, originally, it was back in the day. It was really because of my godmother, my aunt, who just thought I had a lot of extra energy. And so there was a sort of a musical theater style class at I'm from Winnipeg originally, and there's the Royal Winnipeg Ballet had a school, and they had this musical theater class, and so they signed me up for it, and the rest is sort of history. Then after that, I was just singing in school and singing at choir and doing community theater and that kind of stuff.
Oh wow. So you found your talent pretty early. I feel like some people take a minute to figure out their thing, but you found it.
I was very lucky. I was very lucky. I had a lot of really good opportunities when I was young, and a lot of people that really supported me. I still do, but definitely when you're a kid, that helps.
Yeah. So, kind of on the note of Christmas, but also just generally speaking, I was kind of curious of who you listened to when you were growing up.
Oh, this is good. This is a good question because one of the reasons that I was so excited to make this Christmas album was that was a huge thing growing up for us when we weren't allowed to play any Christmas music in the house until the first snow. Now, luckily in Winnipeg, that's usually around Halloween.
Yeah.
So we would get the albums out, and everything from Barbra Streisand Christmas album to Johnny Mathis. Those were all like my mom's sort of albums. Those were her favorite ones. And then we would slowly bring in like weird ones, like Garfield had a Christmas album. The Muppets Christmas album was like one of my favorites. I'm trying to think of who else. There's a band called Bonnie M that we used to listen to. They have a Christmas album. It's kind of like disco, Caribbean disco music. But everything. I just loved having holiday music playing in the house, and to this day, I still love it. It's as soon as that time of year comes around, I love having holiday music playing. So to get the chance to do my own album, my own Christmas album, and make people not only suffer through my love of holiday music, but suffer through my love of listening to myself and holiday music at the same time, it's like a double whammy. It's perfect.
Yeah. Well, so I was gonna ask, so is that what prompted the album? I mean, it
I wish I could say
seems
that. I've really always wanted to do a Christmas album, but it was really because of these three buddies of mine that produced the album, that do all the heavy lifting as far as playing the instruments and getting all that stuff together, arranging and mixing, and doing all the hard stuff that everybody like really loves about the album. These guys are really responsible. Brian Cook, August Eriksmo, and Michael Serpent. Brian actually wrote the original song, "This Christmas Day," which is the only original on the album, and that was our original sort of reason for doing these songs. And they sort of all started out as uh, we're trying to get, these guys had these Christmas songs, and we're trying to get them, put on the millions of Hallmark movies or Christmas commercials that are happening like at this time of year. And as we started to collect all of these songs, I said to them, I was like, "Would you guys mind if we put it all on an album together?" And they were like, super up for it. We're in the process of filming. We're just finishing up a video for one of the tracks now, and yeah, we're having a blast doing it.
that is so cool. I wonder, was it any of them or was it you who chose how the album cover came out? Because I
That was me. Now I will take full credit for that.
okay.
Um, I I have two other albums. My first album was called In Time, and my second album was just a self-titled
Mhm.
EP. And I love album cover. I love album artwork. And I've always loved it. And I think it's like totally an art form in itself. And I
Absolutely.
have kind of a twisted sense of humor too. So when we did this, I was like trying to figure out like what would it look like? What do I see as this Christmas album? And the album itself it's fully tongue in cheek. Like it is rock and roll to the nth degree. We're not holding back on it, and I'm fully in on the joke. Like
Yeah.
this isn't like Michael Bublé's Christmas album. This is fully rock and roll.
Yeah.
Um, so I was like, I wanted people to know that we were sort of in on the joke, that we're not, I'm not out here trying to like tell you that this is the Christmas album to like sit around with your grandparents around the Christmas tree while you open presents and sip hot cocoa.
Yeah.
This is like to put on in the background while you guys are like getting drunk after you open the presents.
Yeah.
Um, and so I thought I called my mom and I said, find as many like pictures of me as a kid as you can. And then when I saw this one picture, I was like, oh, this is perfect. And I was like, and I remember my mom used to say, that was always her like biggest piece of advice at winter was like never eat yellow snow. So that became the title of the album.
Yeah. See, that's what I kind of wondered because I was like, oh my God, I love this title. It just makes so much sense, especially with the tone you're going for. So that's a picture of you then.
That is a picture of me, yeah, out front of the house that I grew up in. My parents still live there. I think I was probably about 4 or 5 in that picture, and I probably was eating yellow
Yellow
snow.
snow. I love it. I love it. So I'm curious as to how, because it's just so hard. There's so many Christmas songs out there. How did you
Do
choose which carols you were going to include?
you want to know the secret? The ones
Absolutely.
that are royalty free.
Ah,
So any
okay.
songs that are in public domain, we grabbed. We were like, okay, we'll do all of the ones that are because it's just easier to. We really when we finally decided to put the album together, it was sort of a lot like we were like running to the finish line to get it done. So we had probably a 5 or 6 songs done, and we wanted to get at least 8 or 9 on the album. So we were rushing to finish them, and we were just picking which ones came off as royalty free. The other thing is the guys sort of came to me with their decisions. August would come to me with like, I kind of like hear this song. Like there's a song called I Saw Three Ships,
Hmm.
which is sort of like a more sort of Pogues, or like it's like a song that you would hear in like an Irish bar. It sounds like to
Yeah,
me, full
absolutely.
sing along. He always had, so he would come to me with these ideas about like the tone that he wanted in it, and that's how he would pick the song. So they really picked most of them. They came to me with sort of, and each one of the guys would sort of spearhead one of the songs, and they would all play on them because they're all amazing players in different capacities. One of them's a
Yeah.
guitar player, one of them's more of a horn player, keyboards. One of them more of a drummer. So that also I think was part of the basis of why they chose which songs they chose.
Yeah, no, I was curious about that because it just seems like every song kind of was a good choice for you, for your voice and for the
Oh,
music.
thanks. They're
That's what I
really
was
smart at that.
wondering. Okay, yeah. So I was also wondering, so you've done your own music, you've done, performing other people's music, and this is kind of a little bit of a fusion because it's songs we know, but through your interpretation. So I want to
Mhm.
know how this journey of making this album has kind of differed from any project you've done in the past.
That's a good question. I mean, I think that of course, it's a good question. You hope all of your questions are good questions. Um, I realize that I say that a lot. Like I think it's like trying to like put space between someone who asks a question and then like thinking about how to answer it, but you don't want to like have empty space. Anyway,
I would take a compliment.
um, the I think that the difference between this and my other albums are really me. It's hard to be yourself. I think that's why I like
Mm,
performing. I like being an actor. I like because it's easier to stand up and be somebody else, sort of like wear somebody else's skin. So when I did those first 2 albums, they were really like, how do I like, who am I? Not to
mm,
quote chorus line, but like, who am I anyway?
yes.
So when we got to this album, it sort of went back to that. I could sort of like put on like a bit of a a play suit a little bit. I could be, this song is sort of like more Green Day, or this song is sort of like more of like a U2 sort of vibe. So I sort of would just go in and try to emulate that sort of a character. So I guess that's the biggest difference. Is these are it's almost like doing a Broadway original cast album more than it is doing sort of my interpretation. Now that being said, this is like sort of the way that I love to sing. I love singing rock and roll, so I'm not. It was the album that I wish I could listen to Christmas wise. So
Yeah.
that in that way it was great. It is probably the most me of all of the albums.
That's really interesting. Yeah, so I've had it on loop. I'm totally obsessed with it. I love it so much. And
Thank
actually,
you.
my favorite is the original song that's on there, This Christmas
Oh,
Day.
that's fantastic.
It's been
Yep.
stuck in my head nonstop. It's just, I think
Well,
it's
that's
because
great.
it's fresh as opposed to all the other songs we know. And I'm just like, oh, it's so creative. I love this song. So I kind of wanted to know, do you have a favorite or maybe one that you're most proud of, like as far as the
Well, I've
interpretation
got a
goes?
couple of favorites.
Okay.
On the album, we're fixing this, but Sarah, who is married to Michael, one of the producers, she's this fantastic singer and just fantastic artist in general. And they came to me with she had already recorded a version of this song, and they said, "Is there like, do you think that there's a way for you to like, could we make this into a duet?" And I was like, I don't know, it's like really good already. Like she's so good. But I was like, okay, well, the only way that it works is that she's like doing this like really sweet, quiet, like so tender voice. And I said, and then the guy has to come in just like full like rock and roll with her. And then sort of they both get to the end and it gets like gigantic. That's I think one of my favorites, but it's also because I just love her voice. I love listening to her.
Yeah,
Um,
beautiful.
but I think probably for me, it's a cross between, as far as like the full song, it's a cross between the original one because I love that I have an original that I'm singing on an original Christmas song. That's so cool. And then I think the last one we recorded was "O Come All Ye Faithful," and I might just like that one the best because it has the most vocal tracks of me on it. There's probably about 50 vocal tracks of me singing backups and
Oh,
harmonizing with myself and it's crazy. So that's probably one of my favorites. And I think it rocks sort of the hardest out of all of them.
yeah, they're all so good. So this holiday album now obviously it's coming at holiday time. It feels like a gift to the public, right? So this is like
Oh,
something
that's
that's
really
been given
nice.
to somebody. And so I'm curious as to maybe what you hope people will get from it.
Look, I told you I love holiday music. I really, really do. Um, and I love getting new holiday music every year because as much as like I love hearing like um, Barbara's version of Jingle Bells or like all those kind of things that are like historic. It's super fun to like hear a band that or songs or voices that singing a new version or a new take on these standards. And you think, because you're right, you think like first of all, no one's ever going to be able to do a new version of any of these songs, and then you hear it and you're like, oh, that's a totally cool new version. I've never would have thought to do it that way, and that's because they did. So I hope that people get some joy out of it. And we're coming out of like a really crappy time. Like we're still sort of in the middle of it.
Mm.
So to be able to like maybe make people smile and and forget about it for the length of the album is a nice thing to yeah, and like hopefully get it into like the universe of holiday albums where people like can pull it out every year and they can make their grandkids listen to it later and go, see, I used to love this guy. I used to love this album. They'll roll their eyes and they'll have to listen to it, kind of like my kids do when I play it for them. Um, yeah, I hope it just that it's in the ether at all right now is really what I hoped for, and it's already there. So I couldn't be happier.
Yeah, I mean it's so great. It came out on Black Friday and I put it on for like that post Thanksgiving workout. I put it for putting up the decorations. I've put it on for
Oh,
cleaning the house. Like it's just got so much energy. And I'm just like, yes, like this is it. This is perfect. This is, I think, exactly what we need this holiday season is just like that joy, like you're saying, because I couldn't stop like moving, I couldn't stop smiling listening to it. I've had it on loop.
Oh, thanks.
It's amazing. And also, I know you kind of mentioned it earlier, but the first thing I thought of is that I could just completely see it being this creative project that inspires other creative projects. Like, I think that it's going to be in a movie montage one day, like a Christmas movie, or somebody's going to do a light show to it. Like, it's going to inspire other creative projects, which I think is just so cool. But
That is
I
cool.
absolutely love it. So you said that you might be doing a music video for it soon?
Definitely. No, we're already shooting it. It's it's fun. It's totally DIY. It's very homespun. My kids are we sort of teased it a little bit on some of my socials, which I'm reluctantly back on again. But I'm trying to find the joy in the social media. Um, so my kids over Thanksgiving, I forced them to lip sync to some of it. So you can, if you go to my socials, you'll see some teasers of them singing. But I've got friends from all over the world that have lip synced to it, and we're sort of compiling it. We're going to get together and film some more stuff tomorrow, and hopefully it'll be out by the end of the week. So I don't know when this is coming out, but they might come out around the same time.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, we're like pushing this thing. I've got a couple other ideas for other videos. There'll probably be one or two for this album. This season. There may be more for next season.
Ooh, something to look forward
Yeah,
to.
very, very, very excited. But I do want to challenge you, and I want to put a chat because I'm going to put it on my socials too. But I want to challenge you and anybody that watches this to
Okay.
create a holiday playlist, your holiday playlist, and then just DM it to me on Instagram. And I want to do a contest. I'm not sure
Ooh.
what the first prize is going to be, but I want you to start. I want you to do one for sure. I
So
want to
like
hear
just
your.
anything, like your
I
favorite.
want as long as my album appears on your holiday playlist. I want then it is capable of winning. How's that?
Okay, challenge accepted.
All
See,
right.
I was just going to send your album to you as my playlist the entire thing. So now I
Nice
can
try.
stuff.
That actually would be a good way to win.
I was gonna say, can I just send the whole thing? Because I was thinking, another thought that went through my head while I was listening to it was, I have a couple holiday, gatherings coming up, and I'm thinking, this is what I want to hear. I want to take it to all these holiday things. And like, I've got some music, guys. I will put it on. Just you will love it.
That's so
Trust me.
nice. Wicked.
It's just got so much energy. It's just got like, it just puts you in a really happy place. I just love it. So I will
Thank
probably
you.
put most of those songs on my playlist and then maybe add
That's
a
okay. You can put them
couple more.
all on. You can put them all on as long as there's a couple others so we don't make people feel bad.
Yeah. I think that it's going to be an annual tradition. I think it's really going to get a lot of hype. And like I said, this Christmas Day, I think it's going to be a new classic. It's going to be one of those
I
ones
love
that,
it. Your mouth to the universe's ears.
you never know. I mean, some artists' best known songs are their Christmas songs, like
Yeah.
Mariah Carey, Elvis Presley, Andy Williams, Jose Feliciano. Their best known songs are Christmas songs. So you never know.
All
I think this one's got staying power. It's
right,
great.
let's do it.
Yeah. So it can be heard on YouTube, Spotify, anywhere that's streaming music.
iTunes, YouTube, Spotify. If you're a TikToker, you can throw it in the background of a TikTok. I know it's on there. I'm trying to think of where else. Basically, all the places that you stream music. Amazon Music, it's out on there. Yeah, I'm sort of concentrating my efforts on Spotify right now, just because it's the easiest for me to control. But wherever you play your music, it's available.
Yeah, I've looped it on YouTube, but the good thing about listening to it on Spotify is if people go on Spotify, they will also be able to hear your other great music with it because it kind of like nicely ties in.
It's all in there together. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's really great. It's a great playlist altogether. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. I really love it. I think everyone should go take a listen. They will become addicted as quickly as I did. So thank you so much
Thanks.
for coming and talking about it.
Thank you for reaching out. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, and I hope you have a wonderful holiday season.
You too.